Did I ever tell you? You'll love
I
this.
could do the whole song. Okay. Yes.
I'm literally like feeling myself because I made my points at the airport and I'm like group one, right? So there's only 3 people on the plane. And the woman
Okay.
goes, hey,
Okay.
hey, the
Executive
little,
platinum. Okay.
um, Elma,
I'm sorry. Who is that? Scoobs
no,
or Brooklyn? Brooklyn.
Brooklyn really be trying to fight.
Brooklyn.
Brooklyn
You ain't
really
tough.
trying to
You
fight
ain't
right
tough.
now.
You ain't tough, dog.
Brooklyn, we need Long Island. You
Oh
put
my
Brooklyn,
gosh. Don't give me those eyes, dog. Knock you out.
right? It's a problem. They're literally like, I need you to play the wrestling music because now they're like they don't want to be on camera. They're
Oh,
just too embarrassed.
wrestling. Yeah, whatever.
They're
So
like
you
having a
so
fight.
wait, you made
No.
your points and now what? So what you
Oh,
doing?
so I'm getting on the plane and I'm like the shirt's silly, right? Because I'm like, the,
Get rid of Brooklyn. Out.
Brooklyn has to go.
Stop. I thought your sister was back to take this
You know
dog.
what?
Where is she?
I'm about
Because
to call her and tell her, look, I'm
real
opening the
quick,
gate.
that vegan thing's getting real old because we're going to be making ourselves some hot dogs from Brooklyn.
We about to have some
Meat on a stick, as they say overseas. That's
that's
what
right.
gets served.
We about to have Brooklyn kebabs. For real. For real though. Good morning.
You didn't finish. So you get on the
Oh,
plane and what? It's like this story is like,
listen, I know it's taking forever. I'm reminding myself of my husband. So, what had happened was I'm getting on the plane and the woman can only see like this premium chocolate. And so she goes, "Oh, there's a chocolate? What chocolate?" So I look at her right in the face and I say, "Me. I'm that premium chocolate." And she
because you
almost
are
fell
laughing.
over,
I would bet
didn't
she
know
was
what to
hysterical.
do. She was like,
Okay, first class, I'll
yeah,
meet
she
you.
was like,
I'll meet
and I
you.
was like, and I'm sitting right there. I'm gonna look at you the whole flight while you enjoying this chocolate. It was hideous. And this is
Well,
already with me like, I like to be controversial with my clothing, not because I'm wearing things risque. It's because I'm always wearing like I have the
although
hat that says your mom on it. Like
I
I'm
love
just trying to be
I
annoying.
do want to point out the fact, however, that you are looking fabulous and really could wear more risque, feeling yourself kind of clothing if you felt like it.
I could if I wanted to, plunging necklines in HR.
Plunging, and by plunging I mean just undoing the top button.
Because the wrinkles, to be clear.
Yeah, what is this called? The decola? What's that
Clap.
word?
Oh, yep.
You know what I'm
I know
talking
the
about,
word.
right?
I do.
Decolletage. Somebody
I
put it
love
in.
it. Somebody put it in the chat. Somebody put
So
it in the chat.
that that whole
We
thing.
have to add the chat overlay
I
so
got
people
to
can see
tell
it.
you, that doesn't age well for some of us. It doesn't age well, this whole thing, because you're like, oh my gosh, what is that, like a site map of the Sahara? What happened here? It's all like,
Oh my. Y'all put something in the chat so we can see if it's working because we're
I
trying to
did see
make sure.
before we got here. I see Nikki.
Oh, hi, Nikki.
This, by the way, this buzzword bingo, holy guacamole! I have to keep it. So if y'all see us looking
Yes.
off to the side, it's a list.
I'm going
I
to pull it
can't
up on
memorize it
my
all.
phone.
Me
John,
too. I have it on my phone. That's what I'm looking at because I cannot remember all this. But y'all, there's this list of like a bajillion, catchphrases, buzzwords that got published recently for HR, because HR, and We just love this kind of stuff. Love the buzzwords.
We do be loving it. We
Love the buzzwords.
do be loving it.
Oh my
Look,
gosh.
I have all these people that are chatting on our LinkedIn and it's not coming up here. It's
Because
interesting.
this is what
Maybe it's just going to be slow.
Well, if it's under yours, everything's
Jessica,
connected. I don't know. It says you're connected.
There it is. There it is. See, it's coming. It's just a little bit late. Our friends are here. Brooke is here. LinkedIn user is here.
Well, you know that's Rachel. What's up, Rach?
Angelique is here. And Stephanie is here. Listen, we were looking and trying to figure out what we should talk about. We did pick the buzzword bingo. We're using this list from Tech Target that says HR buzzwords such as quiet quitting, ghost jobs, and industry hopping are all over social media. People are turning to social media to discuss their thoughts on the workplace.
First of all, I'm going to say one thing before we start. Turning to social media to solve your problems, I'm going to say it one more time, ain't going to happen. Social media cannot solve your problem. You go on Facebook and post something because you think everybody's going to help you. Not that you won't get any advice, but y'all, come on, let's fix the workplace. Let's fix it if that's where the issue is. Y'all, come on. I love that number one on this list is employee experience. I love that because so many organizations, I mean, that's core to what they actually are addressing and doing and promoting. Like their branding is about employee experience. Are you over that term? Are you sick of people kind of talking to you about employee experience?
Listen, I'm over it and I'm over trying to figure it out. I don't know how to figure it out. What kind of experience do you want?
Yes.
What do you want from me?
Yes.
Like, I mean, literally, I worked in the place where it was like, don't look at the bosses in the face. So I'm trying. So the fact that people are like,
it's hard because if employee experience is based on employee expectation, it's different per person, right? Like, what do I need? What do I want? Praise the Lord. Hey, George. Something's starting to pop up. I don't know. We got all these other comments that aren't popping up, but George fixed it. Work tech. Everybody get on it. George fixed it. Love you, buddy. But if you are trying to manage employee expectations and kind of addressing it under the umbrella of employee experience, it's a varied response. Your what's going to work for Joe might be different than works for Mary, than Jim. And, that's a really hard kind of experience to guarantee for everybody to meet their needs.
Yeah, we don't have a standard right now.
I was just going to say it runs the gamut. Yep.
And it depends on the industries are different, and there's different. And then some industries, like you're just never going to have the employee experience that you're looking for. Some of those industries are just like that.
And I don't know that the industry can fix itself. Like when people say to me, I'm just so tired of going to these tables and taking orders and bringing people food. Well, girl, don't be a server. It's not going to be different somewhere else.
All these people are in line. They want me to go get t-shirts. Why can't you just be the size on the floor?
I mean, it's tongue in cheek, but we're kind of serious. Like we have people who are like, I'm really tired of being on this distribution line and packing things for shipment. Well, I'm sorry. What would you like to do instead at the distribution center? What would you like to do instead? Like
I don't want to turn my camera on. That's my favorite. I don't want to turn my camera on.
But I want to have a good bonding experience with my colleagues. Don't look at me. Right? Like, wait, what? It's hard.
I want you to know how I feel, but I don't want you to see my face. So I want you to guess on what I'm doing right now.
Yes. George, I'm going to share this comment because I just think, even though it's on the side, I just want to give it some highlight. It is your everything, right? Like, and what matters to one employee that may be handled well during pre-hire may go over the head of somebody else who's like, that doesn't do a whole lot for me. Like, I appreciate that it's simple and that I could log in when I needed to. Thanks. But it's almost like, well, that should be a right that I get as an employee. But what does matter to me is, during employment, this process that has been done well, that really speaks to me. I mean, it is still individualistic when it comes to EX, for sure.
And you have to remember too, like when you work for a startup, it's really about the investor experience.
And people don't want to hear that.
I know. Number
Nobody
2, there's 57. We're never going to get through the list. We
are. Oh, afternoon, everyone. Look at this love. Thank the Lord.
Oh, Stephen O'Donnell.
My gosh. Thank the Lord. Things are starting to work.
Number 2 is saying the Great Resignation. Over it. I was over it when it came out.
Are we allowed to be violent? I can't remember. What did we decide here?
It was like the Great Resignation is when people began quitting their jobs. 48 million people voluntarily left their jobs in 2021. And they're saying that a lot of people think that the Great Resignation is still ongoing, with 4.2 million people quitting in August 2022.
Oh my gosh. George is on fire. Look at
George
this.
He started the fire.
He
literally started the fire. Over it, and I'm over quiet quitting.
We're over all. Stop with these things. First of
all, quiet hiring.
Quiet anything. First of all, how do you quiet hiring? Does this person not know that they were brought in? Right. It's like, okay, when do I start? It's a secret. Can't tell you.
Don't tell. Something I never heard this buzzword. Have y'all heard this? Called anti-perks. Benefits that employees don't care about because they feel they could harm productivity. Free dinner, catered lunches, massages, nap rooms, video games, unlimited vacation, fitness rooms, pet-friendly offices, mandatory fun events, or alcohol.
I mean, that's a really interesting one, isn't it? This anti-perks. I will tell you, I've never heard of it until this list. And it's number 6 on the list, y'all. So I'm not really sure like who's voting on this, but I've never heard of it. And that list you just read, it's because of the diversity of an employee population. Some may enjoy those kinds of perks and some may not. And so some people are saying, I don't want you to spend money on massages. Only 3 out of the 10 people in our department like the massages. I don't like people touching me. Give me a check instead.
Let me tell you a real story. And I've told this story before because it's one of my favorites. I worked at a company that every year during Thanksgiving would give free turkeys.
Yes.
They gave the free turkeys and people would get mad. And then they're like, you give us the free turkeys on Tuesday and it's not enough time because the turkeys are frozen and it's only $30, whatever. We did it for like 2 or 3 years. Then the 3rd year, we're like, you know what? We're not giving free turkeys.
That's
then
right.
You had
That's your turkey.
Other part of the population going, what am I supposed to do now? I can't buy a turkey.
I got my mother-in-law coming over. I need a turkey.
I got no turkey. I got gravy. I got chitlins. I got stuffing. No turkey because of you.
No turkey.
Operation.
I mean, right? I will say, though, as far as buzzwords are concerned, if you get to a place where you have, I think, if you have an organization, if you're part of an organization where this sense of let's talk about our feelings around anti-perks, I would probably submit that there's something probably one layer deeper going on, that don't get distracted by anti-perk conversation. Something's happening culturally. Take a breath and go a layer deeper. Don't get distracted by why are you bringing in lunch on Thursdays? That's my day I do intermittent fasting. Can't you bring it in on Wednesday? Ooh, hang on. Like, hold on a second.
Slow down. The other, what is it after that? Digital nomad.
Digital nomad, I think, is fascinating. I love this one. I'm like such a sucker for some things, I have to say it, but it says digital nomads, right? How we want to say that people can work from anywhere. Libraries, hotels, temporary housing. Why has it got to be temporary? Can't these people have permanent residences? I don't understand that. Cafes, co-working spaces, or last, RVs. We got to be okay with people being a digital nomad and
Listen,
using a
I
recreational
thought
vehicle. I love this.
this was fascinating. There are different countries that have opened up visas to digital nomads to
Yes.
encourage people to live in their country and temporarily work. These countries include um uh,
Anguilla. I got to
who's
get
going to
there.
Anguilla?
First of all, who's been there? I'm sure somebody's been on here. Nikki, you been to Anguilla? I'm telling you, some of these, and what I love the fact that one of them listed there is Georgia, because some people are reading this like Georgia's another country. I thought it was part of the U.S. What
I do
happened?
love Curacao, and now that I know they have one, I might have to apply.
Okay, that should be our like Golden Girls trip this year.
It
Is
should be.
4 of us to go to
Sorry,
Curacao.
we're working in Curacao.
Can we do
Um,
that?
hey, I learned something new, and somebody
Or
gave
I'll
me
do
a trouble.
I'll do Costa Rica's on this list as well. Like I'll head there.
But I am not going to Iceland or
So listen,
Estonia.
some people say I've not been to Iceland. There's got to be some people on here. I know some people have done that Iceland trip and loved it. Loved it.
Any
Loved it.
place like that is more work. I don't want to work in a place where more work.
And it's funny that these sometimes you have to look at these countries that allow for digital nomads and look to see, well, why would they open up their borders so easily to this kind of work? Why are they issuing these visas so easily? And you look at a country like Taiwan, and honestly, you could really start to think, what am I contributing to as far as maybe some human rights issues and those kinds of things? And they're looking for monies to come in. Nobody from Taiwan at me. I'm not trying to call out any particular person, but
Look what Charles said. Charles
yes,
said
yes. Oh, Charles, he said,
180 days.
Charles, you said here. So Charles, are you in Costa Rica? Can we confirm that? Are you kind of dividing
Are
your
you in
year
Costa Rica?
between Costa Rica and somewhere else?
Can we stay at your house, Charles?
We need
That's what we
more.
need to know.
Yes.
That's what he
Charles,
really wants to know. Can we
Charles.
bunk
Oh
up?
boy. Can I come? And by the way, if you have a 1-bedroom king, I'm good. Just let me know. I'm all right. I ain't proud.
You sure not? No,
I wish I were lying.
Industry hopping.
Yeah, what do you think about this one? Is that bad to hop
I don't
industry?
think that's bad, but it says 48% of people quitting their jobs in the past few years found jobs in different sectors. That's because of how many teachers are left education. Let's talk about it.
Yeah. How many people, quite frankly, left HR? Since we have some HR people here, HR tech, and benefits. I have to tell you, I ran into 2 people over the holidays who used to be in a benefits brokerage. Like they were supporting the sale of benefit policies. Both were in completely different industries, separate from one another, but totally different than that, because just exasperated with health insurance. Like, really interesting. I don't think it's bad. You and I both have worked for different kinds of organizations, though applying our skill sets and like our core knowledge, but just in different sectors. I mean, I've done the work that I've done in education, restaurant, hospitality, banking.
Same.
Like, it's run the gamut.
I have a preference, but I don't think that's a buzzword. And the next one I don't think is a buzzword either, emotional intelligence.
It's a buzzword. Yeah. What does that mean? It goes out of style soon?
I mean, people do need that's not going out. Skills
I
gap
hope
is the
not.
next one. That's not going nowhere.
I hope it's not going out of style.
No, I think those are really important.
Skills gap is the same thing. Like, yes, I call that experience too, George. I think, like, when you look at skills gap, like, well, what is so buzzword about that? Haven't we always wanted to approach learning opportunities for individuals when we see there's a gap in the skill sets that they have in order to help that person advance? Isn't that what we were always supposed to be doing from a learning and career mapping perspective? I don't know. I feel like if that's a buzzword, I'm screwed. I'm doing all the wrong things. I'm doing all the wrong things.
You might be. I just got confused because look what just dropped. Can you see?
Oh my gosh, I love those. Are they?
By the way, that's exactly how close you need to be to the microphone to make it effective. The new Nike Dunks, but that's another show and that's another day. I don't know if I'll ever have like
12 and a half. 12 and a half. Send me
Number
mine.
11, soft skills. That I mean, it's stupid that we call it that, but I mean, everybody's going to need soft skills.
Yeah, but it is kind of buzzwordy in the sense that you're seeing organizations, especially partnered organizations like vendor and tech platforms that are leaning heavily into let us help you invest in your people with soft skill development, as if it is sort of separate from what ought to be happening in the organization anyway. It's kind of
Right.
interesting.
What about this? Ghost jobs. Ghost jobs are posting that companies have no intention of filling in the near future.
Now, what is the difference between that and evergreen? Right?
I don't think there is one. It says these postings stay online after someone is already hired,
Yeah.
may be posted for a position in the future. Companies do this to gauge the talent pool. I think there are evergreen experiences. I don't think it's fair to call it. I mean, maybe I've never heard it called a ghost job
Me
because we don't
neither.
have that job. Look, turnover is rough. Have they been paying attention? We got people
Where
quiet
have you
quitting.
all been? Where have you all been? Right? Because when we both know, or certain industries that keep their job postings evergreen. That's what we mean by that. They never take them down. They're always willing to accept resume applications for certain roles because they just are always open to talent. But it doesn't necessarily mean that there is an active opening for that particular role. They're just always open to collecting it. Is that a
You know
ghost
what I
job?
feel like we're seeing right now? It's this collective experience this collective sigh post pandemic is what we're experiencing with most of these, right?
I just want to say, I know that I'm starting to show my preference. I really feel
You
some
really
sort of way
are.
about George. I'm starting to really like have some sort of warm fuzzies in the
It's because you want to be George and
I
you'll
want
never
to
be George.
I want to be George. I want to be with George. George, where are you? Get here to Florida quickly, buddy. I
He's got
need
a
you here to talk
crush.
about these
He's got a
things.
crush.
Just I'm telling you. But that's to what, if you see George's comment, this is absolutely true. If you really weren't paying attention to the job market, let's say pre-pandemic or pre this recessionary-esque environment, then all of this is going to
That's
seem
right.
very new to you.
That's right. If you weren't paying attention
Yes,
before, now
yes,
all of them, because it is concentrated
yes,
in your face
yes, totally. Now
and
this
online, and people are filming it while they're having it.
now this we're going to get into trouble with. I'm going to just say it right now. I'm going to just label it right now. Hustle culture. Now,
Do you see me? Look at our faces.
this whole thing with hustle culture is difficult because entrepreneurially speaking, I appreciate hustle. Like we have to. You got to hustle to make things work. I had a
Right.
call with someone last week who, was a bit all up in my business, asking about Humoriso and where our funding comes from and how bootstrapped we are and all this. And I'm happy to share with some folks. And so one of the responses was, I went up a peg in the eyes of the person asking me because it sounded like I'm hustling. And the person loved the fact that I'm a hustler. Now, besides the fact that that's a magazine that I wasn't allowed to look at when I was a kid, it also means it also means she's covered her ears. Lord, here he goes. Um, it also might be a door opener for those of you who are out on your own, kind of hanging your own shingle. You're trying to do specific work within business management, tech, HR support, wherever folks are coming from that are listening to this. There is something about that hustle culture that honestly is still a positive for the person you may be talking to, who you're trying to develop business with, or getting buy-in if you're doing seed round. Honestly, I've sat in on PE and VC presentations, and individuals on those boards are wanting to hear from the people coming to ask for money that they've got a lot of energy behind this. And so
Now,
there's a hustleness to it, right? So it can't all just be negative when we're saying these are buzzwords.
no, there's something else, and I'm playing with this light. Sorry if it looks kind of crazy, but
No,
I'm
no,
trying to
you look
see.
good. You look good.
The other part that I want to talk about with hustle culture, you know what? I shouldn't wear wigs again because I am really feeling myself.
I know you do. I love that.
Anyway, um, I can't see, so mm.
This is
That's why I gotta wear red lips so I can see myself in the mirror. Otherwise, I'm like,
yeah.
I can't.
You didn't put those red lips on today, by the
I
way.
know. I won't even get into this morning, but listen, this is my second cup, and you know I can't. Third
Nope.
cup,
She's out,
talk about
y'all.
hustle. But I do want to talk about something else that I think happens within that hustle culture. Honestly, working remote, sometimes hustle culture is I'm getting this all done, I'm stacking it and putting it all together during that course. It doesn't necessarily mean working over. It
Yes.
is,
Yes.
look, I know what's going on. It's going to be sunny tomorrow. It's raining today. I'm a stack and pack for this, and then tomorrow have a different. I don't think I think the hustle culture that they are referring to that people think about is so negative is when you're giving people opportunity based on the extended hours is what people are saying. Like you don't have to work twice as much in
Yes.
order to get that same effect. And we
Yep.
do know, like from a DEIB standpoint, that's what drives me crazy. Like you don't recognize the bias of and showing preference to people who maybe they're not married, they don't have children, they don't have to
Yes.
caretake, that a
Yes.
lot of younger people, but really it goes over to our generation as too. We're empty nesters. So we're like, I'm always there. I can travel, I can go wherever. And then people are like,
Exactly.
oh, well, look at this person who does all that extra work. I can tell you I think what people are trying to get away from are unnecessary stress and unnecessary dedication to a job that doesn't invest that much time in you. Like that's just got to stop.
And that doesn't make the word hustle like a dirty
Why?
word necessarily. I think the context is kind of what you're sharing. Like that's what has to happen. But by the way, if within working hours, you're kind of laissez-faire, you ought not to be upset when a manager might say, hey, how do we help tap into a little bit of get up and go while you're working in the
Vim
hours
and
that we
vigor.
really,
Get a
how do I
little
help
pep
how do I
in your
say this
step.
without offending you? Can I help you a little bit with that? Because I'm really struggling to try to ask you to get moving. So what is what is it that I ought
You
to
a little
say?
slow.
Because let me just say it's 3 o'clock and you walk around for 45 minutes at 3 o'clock, like just telling everybody, Lord, I'm tired. Lord, I'm tired.
Ooh,
Like
last night.
it's you did that for 45 minutes. I went back and checked your job description. I don't see that as one of those duties and responsibilities, darn it. I looked for it. It wasn't on there.
You know what else? I like this one I really have never heard of before either. Labor hoarding.
That sounds dirty to me.
Labor hoarding. Look, I'm women of a certain age. I
Look
gotta
at
read this like this.
listen, I got mine propped up at the right distance for these
But I'm trying to
progressives that
be
I got
cute
on.
without my glasses.
No, don't be cute.
Okay.
Just succumb.
Labor hoarding describes when companies keep employees during tough economic times, such as a recession, instead of laying them off because they feel it will save money in the long term.
It's craziest thing I've heard. Craziest
Never
thing.
heard that.
That
That
is
don't make any content.
crazy. Well, they said that the reason is because um, let the people go and find somewhere else where they can contribute rather than just letting them hang on where when work productivity is down or maybe the client base has dropped off and so they're not as busy as they were and you're making them suffer by keeping them on instead of laying them off, letting them collect unemployment and perhaps find another place that they can invest. Well, now you're asking me to lay people off. Is that what this is telling me? You better lay them off. I don't understand.
I don't understand it.
I can't do the right thing no matter which way.
Next one, gaslighting.
Well, you come on.
As the word of the year in 2022, gaslighting is a form of psychological manipulation to mislead someone. The gaslighter forces a person to question their own version of events, causing self-doubt. Listen.
Welcome to human resources, y'all. All we do is listen to people who have a version. They have a version of what they believe the truth to be, and you just have to sift through whatever. Now, look, not serious gaslighting.
That wasn't nepotism.
No, right.
I know it's his brother, but he's the most qualified for the role.
You're like, he gave me a resume in crayon. I'm not so sure That's
Yeah, but did you
accurate.
see? He was perfect Times New Roman.
And he used burnt sienna to write all the letters. I love that color. Like you
Y'all,
like,
by the way, I'm getting ready to write my book. I just ordered black wing pencils. If you don't know anything about black wing pencils, there's a whole story. There's like a whole cult of this pencil that I just ordered so I can write my book.
let me tell you all something. First of all, if y'all didn't know already, this one on the screen with me, if you want her endorsement, send the
Listen,
retail
especially
product.
you, Valentino.
Send the links for the
Please.
retail product. She will do all the things online for it. I'm telling you all right now. Yes.
I'm not even going to call myself that because I like myself more than I was about to infer and let on.
You can like yourself, but what the word you were probably going to just use, I might agree with.
Probably.
Probably. So this side gig thing, here's a question that I'd love to hear from people. Do you feel some sort of way when you find out an employee has a side hustle or a side gig? Does that make you not think they're doing a good job for you?
It
Is
does
that
it for me.
still happening? Yeah.
I like it. I support it. You know, like I had an employee once that had a side gig of like a barbecue sauce. And then I was always like, I became a customer of the side gig.
Right.
I respect it. Everybody needs to have a high dollar skill that can be used in case of emergency. You need to be able, and you know, like Todd started learning how to tune pianos last year. Like something that takes you out that can make you income and
ding,
find
ding, 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 ding.
No, you get a boost of endorphins when it is in tune. Boom. You're like,
Todd does not need a boost of any endorphins.
well,
My man is high all night.
On Wednesdays he does. He might need a little boost on Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays. I love that. You know, I go and call him next Wednesday and be like, come on, buddy, go do a lap real quick.
Go do a lap.
She's waiting on you.
Speaking on a lap, my sister is trying to make me work out. If you don't know, my sister she likes to call herself a 50 plus fitness influencer, which is funny. What's wrong with 60 plus? Like, just own it. You 60. That's a whole nother show.
John, can we have your bio? Oh, John, it says 30 plus. Do you know exactly how? Yes, I do. 30 plus is what you get.
I still say 10 plus years, and they're like 30 years.
Like,
that's more than 10. That is more than 10.
30 plus sounds old enough. You don't need to know anything else.
That's mind your business. And what green collar job? I think green collar job is kind of cute. It's new for me. Employment in the environmental sector.
Is it a buzzword? I don't know if it's a buzzword.
And we have a quiet hiring.
I like how they did this list, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. Every so often they slip in another quiet. It's like they have some sort of quota. Some sort of quota to like insert this quiet term in every, you know what I mean? Every so often. Yes. That's ridiculous.
Lame-o. I love rage applying.
Rage applying is fascinating. Fascinating. It says it's the act of a person applying to several jobs when fed up with their current role. Yo, I didn't know it had a term. I've seen people do this for decades. You just get angry. You're like, I'll show you and send your.
I tell you what. Don't get me mad. I got a phone and I'm not afraid to use it.
It comes from a TikTok user named Redweeze posting a video saying she applied for 15 jobs because she was unhappy in her role. Listen, I love that because how many people have been unhappy in their role and applied for jobs? This one person, for whatever reason, this video takes off, and this person now is sort of like the owner of applying for a bunch of jobs when you're fed up with your own. You know, there's a whole bunch of people who are like, I've been doing that for 10 years. Nobody's giving me any recognition.
I like Steven says, what about spite applying? I'm pretty sure, maybe not quite rage, just a little spiteful.
Moments. I like spite is a whole thing.
This somebody made up. This next one, polymath, they made that up.
No, but hold on. Show of hands. who has heard the buzzword polymath?
Not you,
Come on,
Brooklyn.
nobody.
Not
Someone with
one
extensive
person.
knowledge in various subjects. Where I'm from, we call them smart. That's all we call them. No, we don't call them
In my world, we call them trivia buffs.
right. Ken Jennings. It's Jeopardy people.
I
Like
see them at the bar at 6 o'clock.
well, and if you're there and there's a trivia contest, you try to make best friends with that person, get on their team, so you get the free
Um,
drinks at the end.
Let me have dumb words for 1,000, Alex.
It's ridiculous. This tech shame thing, that's a
Tech
real
shame
thing.
refers to feeling judged for having technical issues at work.
And I have to tell you,
This is real.
it is real. And I'm gonna say something that might irritate some people, and y'all better, this one you can comment on. I think sometimes HR does it to people. We tech shame people because they can't figure out how to, use the biometric clock when they're coming to work, or they struggle again to log into the, ADP system. There's something going on. I think sometimes we do it because I've seen the HR people roll their eyes when somebody's like, "I'm so sorry, I still have an issue with this," and you're like, "Oh, I'll help you." Lord,
I
that
do.
is.
I mean, because it is annoying. But people don't realize the other day we were in the middle of a meeting and their electricity went out and the whole thing went down. And everybody's like,
Yeah.
what?
Our internet was knocked out at the corporate offices here at Humoriso. The area was down for a couple of hours yesterday, and like I didn't do it. I didn't run outside and pull the wires from underground. Like it
But I
just
did
happened.
love your Jackie, guess what? My electricity's down. So I decided to say hi. Like you totally were like, oh my God, electricity's down.
Everything is bad here. Everything.
Help, make me smile.
Help me. What you doing? Let me see you. Like. But that sometimes we kind of do tech shame. But then when we're having an issue,
Mad.
we don't want people to give us the same attitude.
The
It's like,
worst,
I'll
because
shame
you know
you.
when it happens the most? It's that freaking Zoom update. Where is Joe? Listen, Zoom. I don't need the update when I get on a meeting. Give me the
That's
update
correct.
when that meeting is
That is
over.
correct. Or send me an email to say, hey, click this
Don't
link
do
to get
that.
ready.
It's
Yes.
always like, oh, your meeting is at 8 and it's 7:59. You got to update, parent. Stop doing that.
Update.
I hate that.
I mean, seriously, I will say before we move on, besides a buzzword for tech shame, in some courts of law, that's called age discrimination. So be thoughtful. Be thoughtful about how much
When you ask
you're
your
really doing
team
that.
to make a video with an upright phone of them dancing, don't get mad if it takes a week. Don't. Because sometimes they don't know upright is not.
Try to address it differently. Like when I see someone kind of punching their keys with exceptional vigor, I might say to them, "Ooh, is it not connecting? Is the Bluetooth not connecting to your computer for the keyboard?" Sometimes that does happen. Is there any interference? Because I notice you're trying. No, this thing is not doing what I want it to do. Oh my goodness! Let me share with you. The pressure with which you punch the keys has not been shown to impact your efficacy in the work that you're trying to get done. So before you wind up straining your wrist, having carpal tunnel, and I have to fill out workers' comp, take a step.
But let's talk about that, right? All of us, we can go right now to the Smithsonian and see typewriters with letters forever. Literally almost all the letters on my keyboard are wiped out. I guess I got lots of vigor. I think it's all my
lots of vigor. Or it's because, you got dog slobber on the keys and it's wearing away.
Or it's because that coffee situation.
The coffee is all right. It's a little acidic, but I'm telling you, the dogs, they'll lick that U right off the keyboard. That's
What is this next rolling recession? Lame.
Rolling. You keep me rolling.
You see
I don't
me
think
rolling.
that's what they
They
mean, but I like that.
hating. They try to see me typing dirty. Try to see me typing dirty. Try to see me typing dirty.
It's because we are in a pseudo recessionary environment and organizations aren't sure how to act. Honestly, it's almost easier to just know that we're in a recession because then you do clean breaks as far as a riff is concerned. But organizations are struggling. They're like, okay, I'm reading the tea leaves. 3 out of the 6 say we're a recession. The other 3 are saying we're actually doing really well. I don't know what the heck to do with this.
And we
So
know
we're kind of
election
just,
years are always rolling recession. There's
oh,
always a rolling
so
recession
bizarre.
in every election year is a rolling recession.
And this year is an exceptionally difficult one.
Exceptionally, we are seeing. I mean, the layoffs haven't stopped.
No,
It's
no.
every month. It has not stopped for
And
the
I'm telling
last
you,
year and a half.
with these Republican caucus things that are happening at the moment, and people are like, we're going to Biden Trump again. That's what's going to happen for this November. I don't care what side you're on. What I'm saying is, I think people are like, my gosh, this is what we got. And so it makes them uncertain about
Save
economic
your
policy.
money. Put it in
Yes.
your mattress.
Yes. Yes.
We're
You
not
know what's on
safe.
the rise? You know what's on the rise is cash.
Yes.
People going and getting cash and putting in a safe in their home. That is
Let me tell
on
you though,
the rise.
true story. I had cash and I was like, oh, this is fun. I go to McDonald's, I get my little number, whatever. They're like
2
$6,
cheeseburger meal.
six cheeseburger meal.
2 cheeseburger meal.
2 cheeseburgers. I saved one for my friend because I like to share. But
I
I get the 2
favorite.
cheeseburger meal. Is that your favorite?
Mm-hmm. But I don't share. They're both my
I share.
burgers.
The cheeseburger meal because I really want an adult happy meal. That's what they need. An adult happy meal.
They do. They're back. They're back. McDonald's tested it for a little bit, took them off, and now it's back again. You can ask for an adult happy meal.
Okay, I'm gonna ask.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Todd, go get an adult happy meal for Jackie.
While you're running laps. Quiet thriving.
I told you, every so often they just throw another quiet one in. They're making stuff up. Nobody
thriving.
says
I hope you're thriving quietly.
quietly. I don't
thrive,
want to tell
but
you.
Be quiet about it. An alternative to quiet quitting.
I mean,
instead of focusing on negative aspects, people turn to positive and make notes of what they enjoy.
With quiet thriving, people make changes to their workday to shift their mentality to feel more re-engaged.
Keep an accomplishment list.
It's like that sweaty balls skit. That's what I hear when I hear this.
Sweaty balls. The great regret. Listen.
Oh, yes. Because
great regret.
I have heard from a few peeps who have left organizations who have said, son of a gun, I shouldn't have left. I shouldn't have gone. I should have stayed. It happens.
I feel that kind of way. I'm biased when people leave Textio. I know like where I work is a really special place. And I know you get used to it. It's like the same thing where it's like you get used to certain things get on your nerves, like everybody you get on your nerves. But I'm telling you, like the place of growth and being able to thrive in that way and do this introspection, you're just not going to get anywhere else. And I know a lot of people who have left, and we allow for boomerangs. People come back, but I think that there were a lot of that. But this said that 42% of respondents said their new job is not meeting expectations, and 40% also stated that finding a new job was harder than they expected.
Yep, it is, y'all. It is. Everybody's like,
they said their job was driving them crazy. They've had 8 job interviews, and it's been close to 4 months, and they have nothing on the horizon, and they don't know what they're going to do, and they're looking at moving, and we'll see.
And listen, the devil you know is sometimes better than the devil you don't. There's some wisdom in that, so be thoughtful about it. These hush trips, though, first of all, I want to just say hush trips, by the way, next buzzword. People have been doing hush trips for a long time.
Long time.
Most of it has to do with a significant other. I don't want the person to know where I'm going and with whom. That's called the hush trip where I'm from too. I just want everybody to know. Here, They want me to believe that it only has to do with deciding to go and work from an exotic location and not tell my manager. Well, when the macaw is screeching behind you while you're trying to be on a
Listen,
call, they know that something's up.
I think every time I go to Las Vegas and it's not for a convention, it's a hush trip because y'all need to mind your business. I'm not, listen.
I mean, and if this goes back to kind of the buzz we were looking at before in terms of just being able to work from different places, I don't know why we would be super secretive about it, with the exception of tax considerations, right? I understand that.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah,
That's what drives me crazy is when you start calling people and you're like, aren't you in Nebraska? Like, isn't that your Nebraska house? And I keep seeing you over there. Like,
yeah.
Listen, what
Listen,
Nikki said, it's just being a digital nomad.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly right, Nikki. Like
because sometimes you don't need to know, right? Like I'm working at my 8 to 5 and I'm in wherever. I didn't know a guy that did that, was trying, worked in his RV, whatever.
Well, I'm trying to be center, except because I know I'm going to
can't stay there forever because of taxes.
Because of taxes. Well, and you also might have an issue with your IT. So we know that in some locations, depending on the country you're in, there may be limitations as to what work you can actually access and do because of the way in which like Wi-Fi internet type stuff may work from security protocols. And those IP addresses are foreign, and your internal IT protocols may keep that IP address from being able to access information in your systems. So you might not be able to do your job. And then you're going to have to tell somebody, oh my gosh, I totally forgot to tell you, I'm backpacking through Cambodia for the next 2 weeks and I'm having trouble logging in.
They did do that. My sister retired, but they keep bringing my sister back. This company, they just keep bringing her back. And they were like, but you can't live in Africa, because their husband lives in Africa. And they're like, but you cannot go to Africa. And it doesn't, a lot of the IP addresses won't allow it to open up the system because of the exposure in, different places where you
Because once they open that up to say, we'll take any IP address again, because people are digital nomads, then you're all going to get those emails about the prince from some country that needs $1 million.
I only have to give them 50,000. I'm going to get $1 million back. Don't judge.
It's legit.
Did I tell you my friend said they got hatfished? They were on a dating app, and I said, catfish? They go, no, hatfished. I said, what was that? They said all the pictures, the person had hair or had a hat on, and when they went on the date with them, they were fully bald. Hatfish.
I've never heard that before. Look, y'all, just embrace. Oh, I forgot to tell you. Let me just make sure I tell you. I have to leave a little early because I'm on a panel for hacking HR in 10 minutes. So just so y'all know.
I gotta leave a little early because I have a chat with Jennifer Brown next.
I saw that. So we both are appearing next. Can you put your link into this chat so people know how to get connected to you and Jennifer?
I'll do that. That should be really exciting, right?
Yes. I mean, we're both doing our things because people want to hear from us. We're just those people.
Is that right? Because they don't know where to find us.
They hardly ever hear opinions from us. And so it's really, I think this is the right one. Yeah, I just put mine in. There's it's under Jackie Clayton, but that's the Hacking HR link. If you want to join me in 10 minutes, I'll be on there talking about mental health and well-being, because it's obvious I'm very secure in those things. Very.
You are not very secure. Listen, I've got
I'm very secure, which is why I have a mug that says,
as soon as I have one other friend.
Thanks for always liking my posts. Not that I have bad self-esteem, but please like all my posts. Thank you. You got to find this link. I just saw it. It's on LinkedIn.
I see it. I see it.
It's so difficult.
I'm putting it in here. Okay.
Yeah, put it in this chat.
Life is really complex for me.
While you're doing that, I do want to say the next one, I don't want to leave because I love that this is the next one on the list. Toxic workplace. That's not a buzzword. I just want to be clear. That's going to last for a long time. It has before. That is real life. It actually could be actionable, depending upon if it falls under sort of a harassment definition. So don't just think that toxic workplace from a term is going to go away. It may actually exist for quite a while. Unfortunately, we wish they weren't
Yes.
like that, but there are some that are for sure. Did you find it? Are you typing this in manually, one letter at a time?
Now, I think I can. No, I tried. It was just like, it doesn't matter. You can look it up. If you want to come,
Yes, please go on
If you
Jackie's
can't, if you
LinkedIn
can't, don't. I
page
think I
and
did.
find it. We need to cut a little short because of these panels we're on, but we might need to do part 2 because we only got through half the list.
We'll do part 2 next week because there's so many.
There are so many.
We'll make sure we'll post it today so you can join us next week. And we'll do the rest.
We love y'all. Thanks so much for joining us. Hold on, let me get my likes. Please like everything that I post. Love you too. Bye, y'all. Clink.
Clink, clink, clink. Bye.